who do you think should be drafted first? Is it Fields or Wilson?
Look, I'm no Mel Kiper Jr., and I don't pretend to have studied as closely as Mel. Obviously not. And I'm also aware, before I tell you my answer, I am aware that the history of the modern draft has been black quarterbacks tend to fall, African-American quarterbacks tend to fall, white quarterbacks tend to rise in the draft. Let's be honest. Sometimes people are right. Looks like Daniel Jones is better than Dwayne Haskins. Sometimes they're wrong. Looks like Mitch Trubisky ain't ever going to be Deshaun Watson or Patrick Mahomes. But that's the trend I noticed. Doesn't mean white quarterbacks never fall or an African-American quarterback's never taken first overall. But that's the general trend. So when I first heard this debate, I was skeptical because I'd seen a lot of Justin Fields. I thought he was great. Zach Wilson, come on, Zach Wilson. And then last several weeks, last month or so, I've been watching a lot of Zach Wilson. Oh, my God. The answer is Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson has the kind of talent that is so obvious when you watch him. And the most obvious thing is not even, the maneuverability or the mobility generally or the off-schedule stuff people talk about, off-platform. It's the arm talent. This dude can sling it. I mean, that has to do with off-platform, but this dude can sling it from anywhere precisely down the field with the kind of zip on the ball that you only get from elite quarterbacks in the NFL. Like, if Trevor Lawrence is going to go one, but it's almost like once that pressure's taken off you, you're in an enviable position because you get to take Zach Wilson. It jumps out at you when you watch him. And Mel and Stephen A., it reminds me a little bit of like the draft with Eli and Phillip Rivers, because Roethlisberger was also like a guy who I hadn't seen a lot, but I'd heard about, especially toward the draft. And then when you watch him, you go, oh, yeah, I see why I'm hearing about him. Same thing with Zach Wilson for me. It jumps out at you when you watch him. I think he's the second best quarterback in the draft, at least.
A couple things I take exception with, Max, from what you said is, first of all, Dan Marino dropped in 83, and a Cal Davis quarterback went ahead of him. Ben Roethlisberger went 11. Brett Favre went in the second round. Drew Brees went in the second round when Michael Vick was the first player taken. And you think about Justin Herbert last year, a couple third quarterback taken. Josh Allen fell when he was projected to go number one by me a few weeks before the draft. So I think when you look at the quarterback situation this year, you mentioned talent. You said that Zach Wilson has talent. Well, the better talent is Justin Fields. Justin Fields is bigger, he's faster, arm strength equally as good. Think about the performance. That's the thing next go. Let's go to performance, production. Justin Fields in 2019, 41 touchdowns, 3 picks, one of those interceptions that ended that game against Clemson was on the receiver, not on Justin Fields. So 2 on him, that's it. This year, 6 picks, 5 in 2 games, that's it. And he was at 67% last year, he's at 70% this year. Level of competition, the other thing. Much stronger for Justin Fields than Zach Wilson. So I think when you look at Zach, I like Zach. This is where you get into, you knock one, you act like you don't like. I like Zach. He's my third highest rated quarterback, but solidly number 2. From the time they came out of high school, it was Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields. There's no reason to change that now. He outperformed Trevor Lawrence on that field with 6 touchdowns, 1 pick. And in that game, Max, he was at almost 80% against Clemson in a game where he needed to perform. That was the pivotal game for me. The pressure was on because he had not played well against Indiana and Northwestern, and he went out there as an underdog, and he single-handedly, despite being hurt significantly, played through that injury and led that team to that victory and then played hurt in the championship game. So to me, he has the mettle, he has the talent, he has the performance, the production against elite competition. That's enough to give him the edge for me over Zach Wilson.
The key for me is always about the level of competition that you're going against when you do what it is that you do. Last time I checked, Ohio State was competing for national championships. I don't know what the hell BYU was doing. I mean, they were respectable, and we know they can play and all of that other stuff, but still, I didn't hear anything too much about Zach Wilson until, obviously the season was over, and we're talking about the NFL scouting combine coming up and pro days and all of this other stuff and where he was going to be drafted. Now, do I have concerns about Justin Fields? Absolutely. I think I heard some report, Mel Kiper. I don't know if it's accurate or not. Maybe you can tell me about he checked down only about 6 times in 200 throws or something like that. I don't know what's true or not. I will tell you that I don't think it matters. I'll tell you what matters to me. In 2 years as a starter at Ohio State after coming over from Georgia, the man has thrown, what is it here, 63 touchdowns and 9 interceptions. He's completed 70% of his passes as last year. I'm looking at it from that perspective, along with the fact that he was winning football games and putting Ohio State in a position to legitimately compete for a national title. That's what I'm looking at. I'm also looking at the fact that we said Trevor Lawrence clearly was number one, but after that, we had Justin Fields as a number two. Somebody needs to explain to me how you go from being a number two quarterback to being fifth. We went from looking at nobody but Trevor Lawrence ahead of him to now looking at Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, along with Mac Jones. I'm trying to figure out how the hell that happened when not a game has been played. When the season was over, when Ohio State finished playing football, he was number two. But since that time, strictly on workouts, and I guess people had additional time to watch film, suddenly you're the fifth quarterback instead of number two. I'm trying to figure out how the hell that happened. That raises a red flag to me. I don't know what that red flag is, but it has my eyebrows raising. All I'm saying is at the end of the day, he's bigger, he's stronger, he's more athletic. The arm string is equal to what we get from Zach Wilson. You take all those things into consideration combined with what we're seeing from NFL quarterbacks in this day and age, when we look at the Lamar Jacksons of the world, the Deshaun Watsons of the world, the Patrick Mahomes of the world, and others. Even though last time we saw Patrick Mahomes, he was running for his life. I think he ran for almost 400 yards scrambling away from Tampa Bay defenders. In the end, what it comes down to is your mobility plays a significant role on the next level as it pertains to your ability to succeed outside of the Tom Brady's and Drew Breeses of the world. That's how I look at it. That's what I like about Justin Fields, along with the resume in terms of the level of competition he performed against. And that's who I'm most comfortable with at this particular moment in time outside of Trevor Lawrence. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.